What up, you guys? Happy new moon in Taurus. Better late than never. I had work tonight and I tried to film before work and I was delayed, and I thought I'd try to squeeze it in really fast and at least do partial workshop, and then I realized that no matter what, the upload is going to act like an insane, crazy, unpredictable kind of thing. And so I was like, you know what? If I probably just wait till I go home and film it after work, and I'll probably just upload like any one of my videos just normally. Last Lunation workshop, I think I even filmed the day before, had it edited, tried to upload it the night before, and it still took like all day and into the all night, and it was still like a day late and $1 short. So I'm just gonna feign apathy and hopefully I can fool the opponent and maybe he will stop thwarting me. Great, so we are here for this new moon in Taurus. And I'm so excited because we have just come through eclipse season. We have walked through the parting of the Red Seas through Passover. We have survived the death angel of Passover and the plagues of Egypt, and the metaphors that those represent for us, maybe some of the challenges that we've had that have culminated in long-held patterns that have been broken and healed, that we've been freed and liberated from. And now we have just come to the other side of Orthodox Easter. And so now we've had the death of the lower self, the ego. We've had a period of limbo, and now we are in the resurrection of the higher self. And now it's like we're birthing this new self, this new life. We are beginning the new timeline. We've jumped from the old timeline, the old dimension, the old ways of thinking, the old labels, the old identities, the old stories, the old narratives, the old interrelational dynamics. You know, we can let go of pain. We can let go of regret. Anything that you are beating yourself up about that you wish had gone differently, just let it go. Just let it go, be redeemed, be born again in Christ consciousness, and start fresh, right? So the great thing about this new timeline is that all of heaven and our helpers and our spiritual hosts have gathered to help support us to create a life that is more reflective and in alignment with our higher self. The version of us that has not been programmed by trauma and pain and insecurity and societal programming, that part of us that is just a pure expression of our unique soul and spirit, without hang-ups, without insecurities, without jealousy and fear and timidity and self-doubt, and without the bigger, doubt, and more certain, more relaxed and at ease, even in the midst of the unknown, even in the midst of challenge, knowing that ultimately, like, the Creator's got it and the Creator's got us. And the more that we can get into that peaceful state, then the faster, like, the challenges of our situation sort of like iron themselves out, and like the challenge, or say like the way that the opponent is trying to trick us and foil us, it's like the opponent becomes hoisted by his own petard, and the Creator is able to shift that situation that was holding us maybe down or keeping us small or contracted. And then, like, the Creator can shift that and turn it around to actually exalt us into an opportunity and into our higher potential and into our higher self. And so, yeah, we have this chance to take a breath and really pause and go slowly with intention as we take steps and as we take guided action in starting to build this new life, this new reality for ourselves. And so maybe you're just in the same life. Like maybe you haven't had any crazy outer changes, right? Maybe you're still in your same, like maybe you have a nice, stable relationship. Maybe you have a family. Maybe you have a career that you like. But maybe there's some old pain or some old things that just hang on your mind, or things that you've wrestled with that you can let go and be free of, you know? Maybe there are, you know, ways that you are opening up even deeper and more authentically with the people that you already love and in the environments that you already have. Maybe you go, you challenge yourself to go further in the career that maybe you like, but maybe you just, we're kind of like on autopilot, maybe it's not drastic changes for everyone. Now, for some of us, it has been drastic. It has been crazy. I know for myself, I personally feel like a blank slate right now. I feel like I am rebuilding everything from the ground up again. It comes with its highs and lows, but the exciting thing is every time is that you're like, wow, I get to choose again. I have another chance to make a life that looks like the way I've always dreamt it could be. And so the more that we sort of surrender our ego and the part of us that is second guessing ourselves every second, that is, overthinking everything, is fearful, is timid, is controlling, we can surrender that part of ourselves and become playful and curious and connected to spirit again, and let that intuition guide us and lead us, and let our passion be reborn and our lust for life and our joy. We need to connect, we need to reconnect with that inner child. We need to heal the wounded inner child that's acting out and needs structure and boundaries. We need to reparent that child, give that child direction so that child can thrive in happiness and in play and in creativity with structure and discipline and direction, right? When the child has been wounded and then no one is taking care of the child will send us into overindulgence and avoidance, and we might stay in a fantasy world, right? So we're finding ways to bring that into balance, because we need the childlike essence. We need the innocence that's willing to go along with the absurdity that spirit is a lot of times. It's not always super logical. But then again, we also need that logical reason side that has all of the experience that we've had and the discernment that we've earned and the wisdom that we've gained. So we're taking all of that and integrating it into temperance, right? Into that divine marriage of the holy and the mundane, the animal and the divine, the spiritual into the material. And so the more that we transmute and transform our former darkness, our selfishness, our fear, our competitiveness, our wanting to control, anything negative in our nature, our anger, right? Our spite, our pettiness, anything that we can transform and transmute helps reveal more of the light that's already within us. It's like washing away like a layer of like sap and pollen that like gathers up over time, right? And it brings out the clarity of what's already inside, and it allows that light of the creator to radiate from within without being blocked and veiled. So that gives us more conscious direction, but it also gives us a lighter vibration. And the more that we are aligning with that affinity with source, it's like we can align with our blessings, but we're also aligning with our higher destiny that's been laid out, not just the fate that we were born into. When we're born, it's like we're born with this soul workbook. all this whole big assignment, and it's reflected in your natal chart. Whatever the astrology was in the heavens when you were born, that's sort of like your soul blueprint. And it's got your challenges and your strengths and the probabilities of your life that are laid out as is. Like as you come out of the box, right? With no upgrades. Now, if you don't do anything to heal or elevate your soul or your consciousness, if you don't try to become more like the creator and overcome like your selfish nature, then you will live out that fate and you will live out the hand that you were dealt. But if you strive to heal and change and become a vessel of sharing, and of goodness and of unconditional love and compassion, the more we lean into that version of ourselves, the more we drop off that density. It's like the script changes little by little, and we change and shift our destiny, and we claim our higher destiny, and we open up and reveal more and more of our God-given potential. But it comes from embracing, the all sides of ourself, right? We can't reject our human animal-like part of ourself, but we can't rely on that or let that be in the driver's seat either. We need to rise above that and realize that it's the having of both in their proper portions that makes us higher than the angels. Because the angels, they don't have that animalistic side. And so they don't really have free will. They don't have like a lower side or a base instincts to overcome and choose beyond. They don't really have a choice. They are like a one-track energy with a personality to do that job and like not be dissuaded. And they don't have like this ego and this agenda that like interferes. They're like pure sources of energy, and they're here to serve us because we actually have to overcome the challenge and make the decision to overcome our wicked nature and strive to instead embrace our divine, holy nature. Our nature of goodness and of sharing and of love and creation. We can have both sides, and so that's what gives us free will, and that's what gives us ultimately the possibility of our like divine side and nature and stature. But it comes from integrating and overcoming that animalistic side that causes us to be in a state of effect consciousness, where we're reacting and we're trying to scrounge and control because our ego and our animal instincts want to, they're in survival and they're in like taking, and it's reactive. And that is not in a state of cosmic sovereignty where you know thyself and you are choosing in accordance with your heart's desire and your logic and your reason and your free choice. At that point, you're just responding and reacting, and that's not free will. You are a slave to your fear. You are bound still by Egypt at that point, anytime we are reactive. And so the great thing is that at any moment we can fall from grace and be these lousy, wretches. And then in an instant, we can shift our perspective again and be in the favor and in grace once more and reconnect with the Creator. It just depends on where our consciousness is in. So it's like in an instant, it can change, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. It can be, or you can be in the same space with the same person at the same time. And the kingdom of heaven could be very far away from you. You could be very disconnected from that, and you could be in a state of, hell on earth. So it just depends on where your consciousness is at any given moment, your awareness and the faith in your heart, essentially. So Taurus, new moon, is a great time to plant seeds. Taurus is the second step in our astrological wheel. The Aries is the baby, so Taurus is kind of more like the toddler. So we're learning to take steps out of our crib, out of our comfort zone, out of, where we have just been limited to previously. We are taking physical steps now. So Taurus is earth, it is feminine, and it is ruled by Venus, one of my favorites. I am an Aries Libra rising with a Taurus stellium, so Venus is very influential for me. Venus is all about beauty and love and goodness and aesthetics. And like right now I'm burning some really nice incense. It smells really good. I have a candle going. Like I am, wearing a scent, and I'm wearing like floral. I've got pearls on my earrings to, represent the ocean and the clamshell that Venus sprung from. But Venus is all about harmony and love and beauty, but also the things that will provide for a state of feeling sensual and loving and beautiful, where you can have a bath and relax. You need a sturdy foundation and security and abundance to produce those things. So Taurus is great at earning money or building things of value and worth. They're really great business people. They have a great sense for business and what will be well received in society, what the taste and the pulse kind of is with the zeitgeist. So the Taurans have very great taste, and they know like what will be popular and well received. And so that makes them good business people, particularly when it comes to creative businesses and businesses that offer beauty and things of sensual nature and luxury. They're also very practical and very grounded. So they can do the work that it takes to create their ideas, but they are like a slow and steady pace. And so emotionally speaking, it can take a Taurus a long time to make an emotional change or to maybe like come to a revelation. I know that there are some people that are Tauruses that I've known in my life where I feel like I used to date this guy we were both Aries, but he was a Taurus rising, and my description of our relationship was wind hits rock. Like it was this that moved at a pace of glacial erosion. It was so slow. He was always slow to catch on to what I was trying to like communicate or like things to like grow about. I was just like, oh my gosh, I will never be able to say another Taurus again. So they can be slow, they can be plodding, they can be stubborn, they can be very lazy. That's kind of like one of the shadow sides of Taurus. But they can also be like super cozy and like laying in that Empress pile of pillows with like all the beautiful fabrics and like the nice faux fur blanket. They love all those good sensual luxuries. So this is a great time to plant things in your life and seeds that will yield long-term value for you. This is a great time to beautify your home, to do things to treat that feminine side of yourself, it doesn't matter what gender you identify as. We all have that feminine side. Every guy I know loves to take a bath when he can, and the guys get into it too. So yeah, we all love a good piece of chocolate. We all love a good candle. So give yourself some of that relaxation and make sure that you're feeding that part of your soul that likes to look at things that are beautiful. Sometimes all you need is to like clean and organize your surroundings for that to make a huge difference. But ultimately, I think that the personality and the spirit that is being birthed through right now is really starting to begin to solidify, right? If we were like pouring a mold of our new self, it's like the mold has been cast, and like this Taurus energy is helping us, kind of become solid and more solid in this new life, and like get our grounding, get our footing. Let's see. Taurus is fixed. So that has more potential with like what we're creating right now, what we're getting started, to help it be really lasting. So make sure that you are kind of choosing your consciousness and your vibe right now, because that's going to flavor the seeds that we're planting. And we want this to have the best flavor, the best seeds possible, because this is the beginning of the new timeline. It's like we have an empty field that's never been sown. We have a beautiful white crispy canvas that's never had a layer of paint on it, right? Think of it that way. And so we want to be intentional with what we are creating with now. And consciousness is the root of everything that we create with, and everything that we attract into our life comes from the subconscious and from our conscious and from our super consciousness. So yes. Also, we are still in the energy of Jupiter in Taurus conjunct Uranus. And so that, all of that beautiful, abundant, like financial abundance as well as like the various types and ways that abundance can manifest, like Jupiter is wanting to expand all of that. So if there ever was a time that you wanted to like say, oh, I've been wanting to pursue this or improve myself or try this thing out or just try to start this side hustle or see if this thing picks up for me, like this is the perfect time to put something into motion for it to get that hit of expansive energy. And then the Uranus aspect of it is revolutionizing, and it's transformative. And so whatever this chapter is in our life right now, this is the moment where we're planting seeds. If life were a screenplay, we talk about this a lot on this channel, where this Uranus Jupiter Taurus conjunction feels like the catalytic plot point that turns everything around and gets like the real meat of the story going and sets the character on their journey into the hero's journey. And since we're in the new timeline, it feels like we're in the beginning of our script. So this would be, we're in the introduction, and now it's like we're getting close to a pivotal moment that is going to spark change, like major change, or it could. All right, let's get into the reading. We're going to do a Celtic cross with my custom deck. This is the Straightforward Oracle. I have written this myself. I'm slowly but surely typing this into Word so I can hopefully publish this deck for you guys. I feel like this is going to be everyone's ultimate companion deck for any tarot reading. I just felt like every oracle deck that I have, and I have like probably 100 decks, it's like all the cards have so many different implications, and sometimes you just want something to be straightforward and not this or that, or it's up for interpretation. You just want to be like, can you just make that into 3 different cards then if this card has 3 different meanings? And so that's what I did. I channeled every question that came through, every answer that you might need for clarification. It was like the spirit moved through me, and now this is like maybe 100 plus cards, but I think that it is, I don't know, maybe one of the greatest things I've ever made, because I really feel like this deck is like so fire. It clarifies everything, and it gives you a deep, very clear answer and very straightforward advice. So if y'all haven't experienced this one yet and you're new, here we go. So the first card will represent us in the context of this moment. Okay, it's time to confront the situation. So, honest discussions confronting the truth, open communication, or standing up for yourself. It's time to confront the situation. Something is dwelling under the surface, and it's time to bring it out into the open. Make sure that you are not emotionally charged or triggered when you approach this topic. The most authentic truth needs to be revealed, so it's important that both or all parties feel safe to be honest. It's every bit as vital to speak your authentic truth and the objective truth, if this is a situation that has an objective truth, as it is to hear and believe and accept the authentic truth that the other is sharing. Work with the color blue to unblock the throat chakra. Practice telepathically first to prepare the grounds. So in Kabbalah, we learn about proactive confrontation. And there are a few criteria that you have to run through before it is time to confront someone. First of all, do you have permission from the Creator to confront this issue? And in order to find out if you have, or like one indication would be, are you like dying to say something and popping off at the mouth quite easily? Then it's probably best for you not to, because it's probably the ego that wants to say this. But if you're like, this is not going to be convenient for me to confront this. You know, you're not just like dying to like tell somebody, give somebody the business. You know, you're not wanting to like rub it in somebody's face. It's like, okay, maybe that's an indication that it's not necessarily just coming from your own agenda. Get with the Creator, pray about it. Do you have permission to speak about this? Now, is this the right timing? Sometimes timing makes all the difference, right? Have you ever had like witnessed this or it happened to you where like you like walk in from a long day and the moment that you walk through this threshold, whether you're going to like company or like you're going home and there's people there, or you're going over somewhere and like everybody just starts at you with like questions and like, or like housekeeping stuff that you're just like, oh God, can we talk about this in a minute? Like, can I just like have a moment to like transition into the threshold, right? Like sometimes it's just bad timing. They're like, is someone fresh in pain and you're trying to give them one of those like freaking colloquial like sayings that you're just gonna be infuriating. It's like, now's not the time. Like, don't do it. You know, like think about that. Like, what is the timing, right? Is this gonna like, okay, so if you're wanting to bring up something that you know is not, it's not like, for instance, we've all been there in a romantic situation where you're like, you know what, this is too soon to ask this question about like where we're at with things, but like you can't help yourself and you know that this person's not ready to take it further. If you just like chill for a while and like not make it a big deal, like maybe it can like work out. But like you just can't help it and you're like, I need to know what this is. And then they're like, well, I can't handle it at all. That kind of thing, like that bad timing, but you knew you shouldn't have. Like that's kind of, an example. But okay, so we got permission, timing. Can the person hear it? Like, will they even be able to receive or accept this information? Or are they going to be completely blocked off? Are you going to be wasting your breath? Or are you going to be causing friction and tension and conflict when it's not going to help? Is this person open to hearing you? And then last but not least, when you feel like you've got the go in all of those areas, then in your imagination within like prayer and meditation, meet up with this person in like soul to soul in your imagination in the astral realms. Have the conversation there where you can lay the groundwork and you can let your heart be heard in a loving way without feeling triggered. You know, like when you're in the situation and you want to be compassionate, you want to be patient, but then like they say something you don't expect and then you're like tripping on your words and then they like talk over you, then it's like, then it gets out of control. Like that doesn't happen when you do it like in your mind because you're leading the discussion. So practice in the telepathic realms of the astral realms first. And that is like literally their soul is receiving that on that level. So that will prepare the way for that conversation to hopefully go better than it would have had you not. And then try, when you go into that conversation, to be self-aware and with intention, and try to do it with an open softness and honesty and earnestness and sincerity. Okay, we went deep into that. Okay, so in this situation we find ourselves in right now, I feel like for the most part though, it's about confronting our present moment and where we're at in it all. With ourselves. Where am I? Who am I? What have I been driving for like 3 hours? Like, when you have highway hypnosis, it's like life happens like that too. So snap out of highway hypnosis in life, take a stock of the situation right now and confront yourself. Okay, where am I in this script? Where do I want to be going? What do I want this timeline, this new cycle to look like? Who do I want to be now? Right? Who is my higher self leading me to be? The higher self has already practiced and done it, and you can connect with that higher self to help you reverse engineer and become that person that is required to live in that life that you have for yourself in your higher destiny. So confronting the situation, if things need to change, or if you need to, make some changes or shift some things, then do the things that need to be done. But I think that we're becoming much more aware of what has been holding us back from like living into that potential more thus far. Okay, the next card will represent the energy that's crossing us at this moment. What is crossing us now? Let's just be patient. So we're anxious for like the sprouts to break soil. We are anxious to see results. We are anxious to, be in the thick of the next cycle when, we're already in the scenes of the movie where the character's surrounded by the new friends and they're really hitting it off and they're making a name for themselves and all that stuff, and it's all going well. We already want to be at that montage with the great song. But it's like, we got to be patient, right? Our spirit team is like, we are working hard for you, and half the time you're working against us. Plus the Satan is thwarting us every step of the way as well. So it's like time and space have to align. There are other people involved that are still like making their own choices. So it's like the spirit team is like, every time you get impatient, you throw yourself out of the vortex and out of your alignment, And it's like every time you're impatient, you can confront that and be like, oh, okay, this is my lack of trust. The more I trust, the more inner peace that I have, and the more inner peace and serenity, and the more deeper I can relax and surrender into the divine timing, the faster things will go. Or at the very least, the more I will enjoy and be in a state of bliss in the moment. In the Gnostic Gospels, the word for bliss is interchangeable with rest. It talks about being in rest and doing something from rest, or being in a state of rest. But it's interchangeable with the word bliss, the ultimate bliss. And so it's that nirvana where we can give up like the part of us that's just like wanting to war at ourselves and be in a battle in our minds and within our hearts and always just either in indecision or just irritated or just not in a state of peace and contentment. Right? We can have desire to want more, but still be content and still be eager. There's a fine balance, and being a mystic is pretty much learning how to dance within a paradox. So, all right, the next card will represent our subconscious influence on the situation. What is the subconscious vibe? It's time to party. Just kind of presented itself to me. Rest and recuperate. So it's time to party, rest and recuperate. I think that we've been very serious and very focused, and we need to find a way to be a little like relax and have fun and lighten up and enjoy the journey and stop feeling so much pressure to feel like you need to like be producing specific results, and just be happy and enjoy the now, right? We need frequent times to rest. Like, one thing that I'm enjoying so much about the series, The Chosen is the series I've been talking about on this channel. It's about Jesus and his disciples and when he met the disciples and like what it was like in their ministry. And it's the best, like one of my favorite depictions of Jesus, period. Probably my favorite, because this is not the porcelain plate Jesus that is nice Jesus that's always, being everyone's favorite. It's like Jesus is a little saucy sometimes and he gets tired. And he's like, when he has been surrounded by the crowds and he's done his thing and he's given sermons and he's given healings, he disappears and he goes into the wilderness and no one knows where he is until he comes back. And he doesn't make an announcement that he's back. It's just like his followers, his disciples are like, oh my God, Jesus is in the market. Everybody, Jesus is in Tent City. He's down there doing miracles. We've got to go down and crowd control. And then he like disappears again. And he needs to take frequent time alone to rest and to recuperate. And he knows that the demands of the world are always going to be relentless and unfailing. And so that is why Shabbat is a commandment. And it was so serious that it became like such a serious Jewish law that it's like you could be punished for like doing anything on Shabbat. And when like Jesus's deal was like, well, Shabbat was made for people, not people made for Shabbat. So I think that the point of it is getting lost. If we're making Shabbat harder on ourselves, it's meant to help us rest and relax and renew and spend time with the people that we love and have intimate connections and talk, and celebrate and party, essentially. And it shows to the creator that, hey, I know I am powerless to do everything on my own. You're the source, you're the provider, and you want us to rest. So I rest in you. And that takes trust, and it takes surrender, and it takes your letting go of control. So yes, maybe your subconscious is dying for some rest. And so maybe it's acting out in ways that are causing you to rebelliously procrastinate, or maybe you're feeling apathetic and you're like, why can't I just get my ass in gear and do the things that I know I want to do? Like, I want to do these things. Or maybe you're like, you've got all these things on your agenda, and every time you get the time to do it, it's like the whole world shows up and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to sidetrack you and give you this task that's absolutely urgent. And it's just like, no, you have to shut your door, and you have to tell the world that the fire can wait for 2 days. Let it burn. And let that be that. The creator has it under control. The creator wants me to focus. The creator needs me to take a time out and get rested or get focused or whatever it is. But we need that balance of both, and the world will never let you have it. So you have to make that stand for yourself. The past influence that's affecting us in this moment is emunah, absolute certainty. This is the thing that we are always working towards when we talk about having certainty in the creator. Emunah is a Hebrew word that represents faith beyond reason, faith beyond logic, faith beyond knowing. You don't have any evidence. You haven't seen a miracle. You just believe based on your feeling and knowing and what the good news is bringing you, right? You don't need to see to believe. You can believe first, and that belief will cause you to see. Faith, understanding that you already possess everything that you desire. Emunah is the highest form of faith. It is beyond belief. It is absolute certainty. Certainty that transcends rationale or logic. This level of certainty is perpetual and eternal and ever present like the sun that shines. It is only we who turn away. We are like the moon with our changing moods and phases, waxing and waning, and only ever able to reflect the light of the sun. But when we rise above our ego, we can transcend the bondage of fear, lack, selfishness, doubt, and receiving for the self alone, and connect with the eternal presence of the light, and know that whether it is a job or a lover or an experience, it doesn't matter what it is always the light that shows up in the vessel that you need it to in that moment. So, having established this firmness and planted these seeds of certainty within us, that is what is preparing the bounty and the cornucopia that is coming. Now, what is, I think, important to highlight is that certainty can be a choice you make even if you don't feel certain. Sorry, I'm like squeaking. My jeans are like squeaking on my book that I'm sitting on my crate. It's a choice that you can make even if you feel fear, even if you don't feel courageous, and even if you don't feel the faith, you can still choose the certainty. And that's your free will. And that's even better because you're so scared and your lower nature does not want to feel certain, but you can choose certainty and it still counts. And you can act according to what certainty would do, even if you're shaking in your boots, right? It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what your thoughts are. You can still choose to detach from that human part of yourself and connect with that observer self that can observe the self observing the self. It's like, what is that? That's the spirit. That's the soul, right? You can choose from that place and act from that place. All right, what is the energy crowning us now? This is like, with all the energy that surrounds us within the consciousness that we're in this moment, this is sort of like maybe has the potential to come into being. This is like the cloud that's forming over you. It's like, what's in the cloud? Keep the peace. Not a good time for confrontations. Okay, so when maybe during the first card, it's like, the thing that represents us right now is it's time to confront the situation. Maybe we're feeling very confrontational. And so maybe we have to be very, very careful and very discerning about the ways that we confront things and the ways that we choose to confront the issues in our lives, right? You maybe don't want to do anything rash. Maybe the answer for some is like, maybe if you feel like very confrontational and very like, erratic, you might like up and quit your job or something, and then like maybe come to find out like you kind of regret making that choice, right? So don't get too impulsive, right? Have you ever confronted like a boyfriend or a girlfriend about something and it wasn't the right time and it brought on the breakup? I mean, has any one of us ever been in that situation, right? Anybody ever try to bring up anything with a parent and they don't take it too well? So be discerning. Maybe, at some points you'll find that it might be better to keep the peace. Not a good time for confronting miscommunications, misunderstandings. More needs to be understood before productive conversations can happen, right? So more, has to develop within both individuals. The consciousness has to be there before a good exchange can happen. More going on than we know about, more going on than meets the eye. So yeah, you never know when there's more going on than you know about, and there usually is. Okay, so what is coming up around the corner? What has potential to be coming up soon? This is in the not too distant future. It's a good match. Romantic chemistry worth exploring. Something to be learned. Resonance, compatibility, a mirror, a worthy adversary, a good pairing, mixes well. Two parts enhanced when brought together. So this card is specifically about romance, but there could be other things in your life that you are combining that make for good, like maybe you have a couple of ideas that go well together. Maybe you have components that make something better than it was when they were separate. What a great match. We're dealing with a situation here where two parts brought together become greater than the one. This is a situation that has enormous growth potential and possibility for depth and expansion, security, durability, and stability. Even if the parts are different, it's okay. There is something valuable in contrast. Diamonds are only coal without heat, pressure, and friction. These two parts match. They resonate. They are equal. Be mindful to keep a positive balance. If two equal forces don't dance in give and take, they can find themselves in a stalemate, which is part of the lesson of the journey. Embrace this pairing without overthinking it. It will organically do its thing, but you must surrender and let go to allow the unfolding. So it'll do its thing, but you just have to just let things happen organically. Don't worry. Don't fret with just maybe it is. Let's just assume it might be. So let it just develop. Don't put too much pressure. This might be romantic, but this might be something professionally or something that you're trying in your business, or maybe in your invention or in your idea, or maybe you have a course or something that you're building or writing. Maybe you have a story that you're writing or a script, or maybe you have a song and you're wondering about sampling different things and that, maybe trying something kind of crazy and maybe it's going to go really well. So the perspective that is holding us back, that might be, the seventh card is a card about our perspective, and it usually will shine a light on maybe the perspective that's affecting our situation that we have, but it's usually our negative perspective that's kind of limiting our situation. Usually, unless everything's fantastic and there isn't a negative perspective. But in our case, this is a mother issue. Mother healing. Why did I choose my mother? Why did my mother choose me? This issue is tied to a wound that affected your self-worth. This issue is tied to your money or is affecting your finances. Unconsciously playing at your mother's patterns. Unconsciously playing out your mother's patterns because of enmeshment. So there's something about our circumstances at the moment that are directly a direct reflection of what we've manifested as a result of a mother wound. And this might be okay, the current level that you find yourself at matches your current level of self-worth. Your self-worth is kind of a reflection of your relationship with your mother, or it's the way that your mother and you had your interactions had an effect on your perception of your self-worth. Father stuff has an effect on it in a different way, but our emotional shame that we hold on to when it comes to our mother relationships and our relationships in motherhood and what we perceive of that is tied to our sense of worth and what we deserve and what we're worthy of, right? And so if there's guilt and shame that we're carrying around, that's going to limit what we think we deserve or what we're worthy of. And so it's going to contract our vessel to be able to receive, and it affects us in both love and money. Those are both dependent on our perceived self-worth. So we're healing the mother wounds. We're healing our expectations of what a human mother can live up to. And we're healing our perceptions around the fact that like our mother was human and like flawed. And so her shortcomings weren't a reflection on us and they weren't personal. It's just we're all doing the best we can at the level that we're at any given time. And from a Kabbalah perspective, we have contracts with our parents. And so we choose our parents as souls, and our parents choose us as kids. And we have things to play out together for our souls' contracts and workbook called the Tikkun. And so the difficult things that we have with our parents were things that we chose, because they would provoke us and awaken those parts of us that needed to come alive that only those challenges could do for us. And so though the parents, the difficulties they have with us, they chose those too for that exact reason. So finding those answers helps us let go of the anger and resentment, and helps us kind of embrace and understand and put context and perspective around our childhood, our parents, our relationship with our parents, what we expected of our parents. We could shift that and adjust that to be more realistic and more compassionate and more mature. Okay, so the next card is the outer circumstances that are affecting us now. This is how other people are affecting us. I feel like it's this one. Forgiveness is what is being asked for. So this is affecting everything. Forgive to unblock. Stagnant, toxic grudge, stalemate, bondage, liberate yourself, call your power back, leaking energy, forgiveness will heal the wound. So maybe it's like, okay, all of the people who have wronged you, or that maybe still are, maybe there's just like people in your life that drain you of your energy. Like we all have a workplace to go to. I love what we do in the shadows. The energy vampire guy, what was his name? Like Carl or something. He's like the infuriating, toothless boob that's just like sucks your energy. We've got to like cut our anger. And I struggle daily with that. We've got to let go of the ways that people wronged us in the past. We've got to let go of maybe the echoes of abusive words that people threw at us, that hurled at us, that are like leaving this shadow and this like kind of like chip on our shoulder, like left us with a limp, you know? We've got to let that go. We've got to let those words go and forgive them and throw down the crutch that we've been propping ourselves up on, because that limp will be gone. We're being reborn, born anew. We're resurrected, and in Christ consciousness, it washes away the past so that we can go forward new people. So we need to forgive the past. We need to release our exes. We need to let go of like friends that wronged us, that maybe we, have become estranged from, or parents or family members that we've become estranged from. We just need to let all the malice and the pain and all the stories around it go. Just put it down. Just don't think about it at all. Just resolve it, release it, and let it be. Take the lessons, take the love, take the wisdom, take the discernment, but leave the pain and the regret and the fighting with why did it happen and why did this and that's just keeping you bound. So accept that it's all been done, that it can serve a purpose to grow you if you let it, and let that be that and move forward. All right, and then the next card represents our hopes and fears. Okay, everything's going crazy. Settle down, hopes and fears. This is the destiny you choose. The destiny you choose. This is what we were talking about at the beginning of the reading. The ways that we can align with that destiny that we choose is to let go, is to forgive, is to let go of that darkness and transmute it forever. Your free will is your most sacred divine gift and power. Choose with intention. Be the cause, not the effect. Take ownership of your life. Set your course. You do have a choice, and that choice is up to you. Think of fate as the script of life that you were born into. There are core parts of this storyline that are unchangeable. The first draft of the script is fate. What you choose to do with this draft is your destiny. You can write another draft and another draft and another, but certain parts of the story are canonical, concrete, and unchangeable. Fate will present a version of your life to you, but how you choose to show up will determine your destiny. You get to choose. Our free will is the most sacred gift and power we are given as human beings. However, we must be present and conscious to use it. Otherwise, we are living in a cause and effect world, reacting to life on autopilot. To get off of the fated path, move from living in effect consciousness to cause consciousness. Be the sovereign co-creator of your reality. So the fears is that we're going to be resigned to our fate. But our dreams will come true as we rise above that fear and simply choose our destiny. Okay, probable outcome. What is our probable outcome? Peace and release. Surrender, let it go, radical acceptance, untangle, allow, let go of control, certainty in the light, embrace the unknown, move forward from here, don't get stuck in the past. Peace and release. The destiny that you choose. Forgiveness is what is being asked for. Forgiving our mother, forgiving our exes, forgiving old things that didn't work out the way we wanted, forgiving ourselves. That is a big, big one. Forgiving ourselves. All right, now let's grab 4 tarot cards to bring our story together. Let's sum this up. Oh, the whole deck is in reverse. Okay, I'm just gonna keep shuffling. Oh, what do we have here? Ah, okay, so the Hierophant. 5 of Cups reversed. Okay, I love this. So let's get the other 2. Boom. Okay, Page of Swords. And 3 of Swords reversed. Okay, cool. We had 3 of Swords reversed come out in our daily reading today. So the Hierophant. So we are taking spiritual authority over our life, and we are becoming more spiritually sovereign, right? We can sit with our feelings and our thoughts and observe them and detach from them, and then choose with free will what we want to do. We don't have to let our feelings and our thoughts make our choices for us. We can actually cultivate those and observe those and choose beyond our fears and our thoughts and our feelings. So taking authority, spiritual authority over your life, maybe you are becoming an influence or a teacher for others as well in some regard. Maybe you have some kind of expertise that you're sharing with others. The Hierophant can have to do with mentorship, with mentoring other people or teaching them, or like joining an institution of learning. It can also talk about doing things for tradition's sake, or doing things by the book, the way that they've always have been done, like honoring tradition, honoring the proper way to go about something. So, you know, when the Hierophant is reversed, it encourages you to like go your own way and do things your own unique way, and that's what's going to give you the edge. But when it's upright, sometimes it's like encouraging you like, hey, don't reinvent the wheel. It's already been done for you. Just like follow the traditional methods, and maybe that's how something's going to be successful. Also, this card is about unity. So what gives us power in groups is our unity. That is what like makes the protection, the light of the Creator around us even like more brilliant and radiant and stronger. And as a group setting an intention, it creates like a power to manifest with the group. Unity brings the Messiah energy to earth. Division, separation, it breaks our affinity with the light of the Creator. We fall out of alignment with Source, because Source is one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God. The Lord is one. The Lord is not fragmented. The Lord is not indecisive. The Lord is not wishy-washy. The Lord is one. The Lord is certain. The Lord is confident, right? The Lord is not fragmented, right? So unified, not divided. 5 of Cups reversed is like able to let go of your sorrows, able to let go of your regrets. Things are getting better. You're starting to get to the other side of this. You're starting to find healing, and you're starting to appreciate the lessons that you've learned and the person that you've become on the other side of it all. And so you're starting to get focused again, and you're stop focusing on everything that you've lost, more about, okay, what's next? What's next for me? Page of Swords is about communication and study and research. This is sometimes an obsessive energy and a little bit of a stalker. So maybe you're just getting like really into research and really into like looking into, you know, the new things that you're starting. The pitfall of the page is not only they can be a little bit of a stalker, a little bit of obsessive, but they can also kind of have haphazard methods and sort of like go by any means necessary to get the job done because of their kind of immaturity and impulsiveness, or their hubris. And so we don't want to get sloppy or make mistakes or be arrogant or presumptuous. So take your time. Don't be too blunt or like quick in your communication. Remember when we're, you know, the confrontational cards that came up, it's like don't slip and say something out of immaturity or like lack of control, lack of self-control. We want to be careful about how we're communicating and intentional about the way that we're communicating and the words that we choose and how we are approaching you know, life and others, because this is, again, at the beginning of the seed level of this new cycle. So we don't want to start things off on the wrong foot. We don't want to have miscommunications. We want to do our best to continue healing, because 3 of Swords reversed also says that like we're kind of getting past some upset and we're getting past miscommunication, and maybe we're beginning to repair and mend fences, right? Maybe some amends can be made. Maybe maybe you were like not on speaking terms with someone, and maybe you can work it out. Maybe you were estranged, or maybe you weren't getting along, or maybe you were angry about something, or you're having a grudge, and maybe you can find forgiveness and work things out and come back eye to eye with a friend, or something of that nature. Okay, let's grab a Moonology card. Let's see, meditate and contemplate. Pisces is on the bottom of the deck, the ultimate healer. And we've got luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. Love that. Jupiter in Taurus, hello, so that's good. All right, let's get one Moonology card. Expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. I couldn't ask for a more welcomed moon card. Thank you. Expect powerful change. Very exciting. All right, let's get one Angel Wisdom Tarot card. Let's see what the angel is on the card too. Yeah. Oh, Six of Cups. Okay, so like someone coming from the past. The Six of Cups many times has to do with apologies or making amends or like making up, coming back together, or like getting together with someone you haven't seen in a long time. Something nostalgic, something from, you know, sweeter times from the past. Children or childhood, revisiting old dreams or plans, embracing your inner child, the return of people or romances from your past, romanticizing how things used to be. So sometimes we can think back on things as better or worse than what they actually were. So careful not to do that. But for some reason, I just feel like there's maybe a character coming back into your life that you can make peace with. All right, and maybe it's romantic. I mean, it says the card here is it's a good match. So maybe there might be someone that you are hesitant to give another chance to. Maybe your own fears from the past are kind of like leaving you a little doubtful, and maybe you need to let that go and give it a clean slate, but like be honest with this clean slate, you know, like there's no guarantees, but like maybe it's just one of those times where you just won't know until you know. Okay, so from the Manifestation Oracle deck from the Mermaids and Dolphins, we've got Let Yourself Receive. So this is what we need to know about our manifestations for the next 2 weeks during the waxing cycle. Now, one thing that is great to do during a new moon is to set your intentions and write them down, take physical actions to declare and claim those intentions, but then also write down 3 actionable steps that you intend to take, and then do those within the 2 weeks. We've got music for manifesting, which comes up all the time, so I'm just going to put that down. So continue to listen to music that gets you in the mood and in the mind space and in the head space of like what you want to manifest and how you want to feel once you've manifested that dream. Break free. Try different ventures and experiences as a way to learn and grow. This was literally with the music for manifesting during our manifestation reading last week. So don't be afraid to experiment and try different things. Don't get stuck in the same routine. Don't get stuck in the same approach. Change it up, switch things up, try new methods or approaches. Like, for instance, I probably need to try a new group of hashtags. You know, I mean, this is like something so mundane. Like, you know, it could be like date new people, right? Like maybe you don't have any of, like maybe the options that you're entertaining right now, like no one's a yes. And then maybe you need to like meet new people, something like that. Maybe you are like trying to approach clients and trying to book things or sell things. And maybe your approach needs some tweaking or some finesse. So maybe you need to like try some different ways of doing things, shake things up a little bit. Healing the heart. You're a powerful healer. Keep up the great work. So forgiveness, healing the mother wounds, healing your heart, you know, peace and release, finding that inner peace, finding that inner serenity and that fulfillment and that bliss is going to continue to open your heart to like magnetically draw in more and to receive more. And waves of prosperity, new abundance, and exciting opportunities are washing over you now. So be ready for exciting and expansive opportunities to come in. Be ready to jump on them. Okay, this is going to tell us what we need to know for our love life for the next 2 weeks. What will be best for us to focus on, or how to approach our love life, if at all. Oh, true love. This is a romance of a lifetime. Wow. So, yay. Maybe somebody's coming along in the next couple of weeks. Who knows? It's always possible. You never know who's right around the corner. All right. What else do we need to know? It's true love. This is a romance of a lifetime. What else do we need to know? That's all we need to know. Okay. It's sitting on the card. It's a good match. Separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. So this feels like a mixed message. You may be at the end of something and you are needing to separate from your old relationship in order to free yourself up for the right thing to come. Like the other card said about like trying new things and different ventures and experiences to learn and grow. Like maybe you know that you're not dating the right person right now, and that the right one is still out there, but maybe they're closer by than you think, and you need to be ready for that person. Maybe you are still in separation, you haven't met this person yet. Or maybe this is someone who, like, for instance, is from the past that you haven't seen or talked to in a while, and you're still in this period. Or it could be coming, but either way, I guess it's good to know separation is on the horizon. This situation, a lot of cards came out here. First of all, what's this? Make the effort. This situation involves marriage. Stay optimistic about your love life, and worth waiting for. So we've got true love, make the effort. We've got this situation involves marriage, stay optimistic, and worth waiting for. With the separation, if you are in a relationship that you want to work on, then you might have a temporary separation, but that you need to like have a heads up to be prepared for. But know that it's maybe worth working on and worth waiting for, and staying optimistic and making the effort, and maybe time apart is what you need. Maybe your relationship's healthy and you just need to both take time to pursue your own interests regularly through the week so that you have more things to talk about, and like space creates attraction. Maybe it just has to do with benign things like a lot of business travel and stuff. And it's like, there's nothing to worry about. This is worth waiting for. You may be separated by like a job or something for a little bit, but don't worry. Like this is worth waiting for. Stay optimistic. It's worth making an effort. This could affect marriage. And so there's so many ways to interpret the wedding card, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you've met someone that you're going to marry. It could mean that this is not the person that you're going to marry, and the person that you're going to marry is like around the corner, and like you can't meet them until like they get out of the way. So it's like that card, to me, this card is not helpful unless you automatically know like, oh, this affects marriage, right? Maybe, and you know, everyone's different when it comes to literal things that are playing out like this. There could be a separation of marriage. But most of the cards around it talk about forgiveness and making an effort. And so, I mean, you'll know if this is something that is finished and you need to move forward from it and start that healing process. Or it may be something where you're going deeper and, you know, this is just a season that you need to get through. Otherwise, it could mean that currently you are not with your future partner, but they're on the way shortly. And in the meantime, Focus on healing and building your dreams and opening your heart and being prepared to receive and be forgiving and understanding and making way for a new day to come. Okay, let's get a word from Mary, Mother Mary. What does Mother Mary have to say? Ooh, trust. I knew the trust card was going to come up from Mary. I know that God in his infinite wisdom and love is answering my prayers right now. Trust. I knew it. Let's get one more. I feel like it's this one. Prayer. Instead of worrying, I pray about the situation to bring about real solutions. Prayer is the ultimate spiritual tool. Do it all the time. Pray out loud. Talk out loud to yourself constantly. Get God involved in all your business. Give God everything to deal with. That doesn't mean that you are complacent. It just means that you're involving divine help and guidance in every part of your life. All the spiritual heavenly hosts want to help us, but we cannot get any help or healing unless we want it and we ask for it. Jesus requires that we ask for his help. He doesn't force himself on anyone who doesn't want it. He doesn't heal people who didn't ask for it. So funny, I love watching the show, The Chosen, because it's like pointing things out that you just don't really think about. And there would be people in Jesus's like social circles that had maladies and that had like blindness and bad leg and whatnot. And they just felt guilty about asking Jesus for healing. They're like, I don't want to bother him. He's so like swamped with everyone else. And it's like, he always kind of has them ask, but then he's like, please, like, it would be my pleasure. You're not burdening me at all. But he does make people ask him for it. So you have to ask. It's your free will. And it's also part of your faith that gives you the courage to ask. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. So loving words from Jesus. We've got, let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. I love that. Jesus never wanted us to be anxious about our life or fearful. Just worry about purifying your heart and having trust and faith and trying to find joy and love in the moment and peace. And literally like claiming your healing and redemption and being in that and being in liberation and in joy. That is the Messiah coming to liberate us, to rescue us, to save us. Seek and you shall find. Matthew 7:7. Seek and you shall find. Ask and it is given to you. Knock and the door will be opened. All right, y'all, that is all. I hope you have a great Taurus new moon. Plant your seeds, plant your intentions, decide on 3 actionable steps and do those within the next 2 weeks. Write them down to hold yourself accountable. It feels really good when you get to cross them off. All right, y'all. Ciao.